find something new to sustain them here. That her? Alex looked to where Gabe was gesturing. A small brunette was walking toward them. She had her hands shoved into her jeans pockets and a baseball cap low on her head, covering most of her face. The height and build was about right, he thought, but he couldn't see her face to be certain. Then again, he wasn't certain he would recognize her face if he could see it. But she was walking straight for them, and that was proof enough. This was the woman he was going to share his ranch with, his stepsister. Technically. Or she had been when his father had been alive. Whatever the case, she was a part of this whole puzzle, and he had to deal with it, accept it, find a way to make a partnership work. Alex liked having goals like that. The purpose. So as she approached, he did his best to smile welcomingly. "You never mentioned she was hot," Gabe said with a mischievous grin. Alex gave him a hard elbow to the ribs that had Gabe sucking in a breath. "You'll be respectful." He shifted on his feet as she looked both ways before crossing the road between the airport exit and the parking lot. "Besides, you can't see her face," Alex muttered. "Her face wasn't what I was looking at." Alex knew it was good-natured, but he also knew this was a damn perilous partnership. "You're an ass to her. You answer to me." "Yes, sir." Gabe offered a mock salute, and Alex considered elbowing him again, but the woman was watching. When she got close enough to speak, she pushed the hat up on her forehead. The first thought he had, one he wanted to erase immediately, was that Gabe was right. She was hot. And she was his stepsister, or whatever, so that was completely inappropriate. Besides that, she was his partner now. If he hadn't had time for women in the past few years, he certainly didn't have time for one now. "Hi, Alex," she greeted. Her voice was soft, maybe a little intimidated. He was used to reading people to gauge a situation, but he couldn't read Becca. Not quite nervous, definitely not confident, but none of the words he had in his arsenal adequately labeled her demeanor. She smiled, something small and definitely timid. Fleeting. "Welcome home," she offered with a nod. The word hit hard. Home. He'd never dreamed of coming home to a ranch his father wasn't running. "Thanks, Becca. Allow me to introduce my colleagues. Gabe Cortez, Jack Armstrong. Guys, this is..." Alex realized too late he didn't remember her last name, unless she'd taken Dad's, which would have been weird. Very weird. Denton. Becca Denton. She held out a hand and shook both Gabe's and Jack's outstretched ones. "It's good to have you all here. I'm sure this will be a really interesting experience for all of us." Alex didn't miss how forced the words sounded, but he supposed a young woman inviting 3 former military men into her home wouldn't be easy, even if the home was technically his. He really had to stop thinking that way. Their home. Their ranch. Dad had left it to both of them. That was the reality, and Alex had accepted it, just like he'd accepted his injuries and not being a SEAL anymore. He was an expert at accepting things. "Let's get you guys to the ranch. It's a bit of a drive. Do you have any bags?" All 3 of them pointed to the bags at their feet. Small, but all they had. If Becca was at all surprised by that, she didn't show it. "All right, follow me then." They shouldered their duffel bags and followed her to the parking lot. If she noticed, all 3 of them limped to varying degrees. She didn't comment on that either. It was a good start, all in all. A very good start. Becca thought she was doing a pretty good job of not appearing nervous, even though that was exactly what jangled through her like an electrical shock. She'd been nervous about this for she didn't know how long. Probably from the very moment Alex had called her up out of the blue and said he was coming home.